Hey, what's up, fellas? So I recorded a video yesterday, but I was a bit of a goob, and I deleted it because it was probably the worst session I've had in months. I don't know why. It wasn't even a session that I expected it to be bad, so I just really wasn't feeling it. It was squat and bench. Um, Kind of lame. I deleted it, but whatever. So today's going to be competition deadlift, which is sumo deadlift. It's going to be pretty easy. 565 is a top set, and then some back down sets, and I'll take you through that as I go. So I'm going to do a fairly quick warm up here. Uh, this is something I talked about a lot yesterday in my video, but obviously that's not going to come to fruition. But it's that I take the approach of doing fairly fairly specific warm up work. Only recently have I been doing any sort of non-specific stuff, and that's only been because my squat, some like my ankles haven't felt great, and it's causing like a considerable amount of calf or Achilles tendon pain, not calf pain. I have had calf pain in the past, but that's not what what caused it. So, yeah. Now I will say today my low back's feeling a little tight. So what I'll do is I'll do something like some foam rolling. I know that doesn't do anything by like cracking my back on it, so that feels good. I'll probably do some dead hangs. I did just a couple of seconds before the camera, so I can crack my back, but that also feels good. I know generally those things aren't going to do anything, but they mentally make me feel a little bit better. And if they mentally make you feel better and you're able to get into it and maybe work through some of the other issues without catastrophizing them, I think it's beneficial. And it's minimal time. It takes maybe 5 minutes to do. I'm not saying they're doing it for 20 minutes. So yeah, that's it. Hey, fellas. So I'm voicing over the rest of the session. The first part of it's going to be a bunch of the warm ups, and then I'm going to get into it, and it's going to be mainly deadlifting, some dumbbell bench pressing, cable rows, and push down. So I'll kind of give my thoughts as I go. So, for deadlifts, one of the biggest things that I've had to focus on is really um, getting my technique consistent. I used to pull on a deadlift bar, and I would have this tendency, and I still do sometimes. It's gotten a lot better, but I would lean back to get the movement, and I would try to break the bar so hard off of the ground that I would kind of conflate the idea of increased speed and leaning back with good starting position. Whereas you can see in these. I'm essentially pausing it so I can get a better ability to drive with my knees out of the bottom. So I'm staying more over top of the bar, and I'm not. The problem with leaning back to initiate the motion is then whenever you get to lockout, you don't have any more room. Big issue that happens with me is whenever I lean back, I'm almost at lockout, but I can't finish. I don't have any more room. I don't have anywhere else to go. I don't have any more room to actually progress the movement. So, um, yeah, staying more over top of the bar allows me to really be more efficient with my movement. I'm just kind of standing around here. This is, I think, a good look at just how I do my warm ups typically. I'll take a few minutes in between each. I really only take about like 3 to 5 reps, and that goes down then as I get heavier and heavier. But yeah, that's been the number one thing that's plagued me on the deadlift. So um, I've been just trying to do a little bit better at that, and I think I have been. It's a little hard to see here, just because the weight is so light. But once I start getting up into my heavier work sets, you can really start to see a big difference. I have videos on my on my Instagram page of me deadlifting. You can even see in some competition, like on my competition from October. I think 639 was my heaviest successful deadlift. Even at that, you can see me kind of like lean back to initiate the movement. So I skipped a little bit here. Um, we're starting to do ascending sets first, and the reason why I kind of pushed for wanting to do that with my coach is because um, a lot of the times on the sumo deadlift, and this can extend to other movements, but I think this number one, this kind of keeps me more engaged, knowing like, because sometimes I can get a little lackadaisical at home warming up to my top set. This keeps me engaged because I know, okay, I have an actual working set, and then here's the working set, the top set, I should say. But knowing that I have a working set beforehand really makes me keep focused. You can see I kind of screwed that up there on the back down set. So these are clusters. Clusters are something that we use pretty heavily in the program. It used to be a lot more we'd use them, but now it's a little less so. And to be quite honest, I think clusters work fairly well for movements that don't have a real eccentric component of it. But for me, if I try to do cluster sets on like squats or bench, it feels harder to actually get into the position and to continue or to restart the movement rather than just maybe taking a couple extra breaths at the top. But yeah, I forget what I was saying before I transitioned to the top set. But ascending sets, yeah. So that's just kind of keep me more engaged until I get to the top set, and it allows me to warm up a little bit more. We'll see how it pans out. It's only been the first week of this, but I think it will pan out pretty well. And one big change that's helped me on the sumo deadlift is to really think about pausing each rep. It's not an actual pause, but thinking about pausing for a split second before the bar leaves the floor, that's helped with my positioning on the deadlift quite a bit. So you can see here, this is my last back down set. Some of these reps are a little janky, but overall I'm trying to move the bar as little as possible to be as efficient as possible, and I think I'm accomplishing that here, but some of the reps just look a little goofy. So here's moving on to the feet up dumbbell press. This is just another kind of day to get in a little bit more volume on pressing, but give myself also a break from doing actual barbell work. Trying to go pretty deep on these. I keep hitting the rack on the right side, and being a moron, I just didn't move it, and I just kept doing it over and over again, so that's a bit silly. But these feel good. It takes a good 2 or so sets to really start to get to an actual fatigue point with them, and I think I only recorded 1 set of those, but I did about 4 sets of those. Here's some rows. I have a lot of imbalances in my upper back. You can probably see it on the left side. I used to obsess about those quite a bit and get real bent out of shape when they would happen, but now I'm just kind of like, whatever. I can just deal with it because things are not going to be perfect each time, and I think part of it has to do with the orientation of the cable machine, but just in general, you can see how my left side is just elevated more than the right side, and that's why I keep trying to turn my head left and right, see if that will influence it, because that has helped in the past, but it makes it tough for me to be able to get a really good pump in my back and feel a good mind-muscle connection. So now these ones look pretty good, but I'm focusing pretty dang hard on it. So like I said, I am not too worried about it anymore. It is what it is. If someday I can fix it, great. But I've gotten pretty strong while still having that issue and knowing about the issue. So if I can do that, then it probably really doesn't matter all that much. I'm going to start being able to go to the gym more often. This one isn't broken up. This is 2 sets into 1. I'm going to be able to go to actual gym a little bit more often, so I'm going to replace some of these movements with probably some more machine work that will just be a little bit better for stimulus to fatigue ratio, and also some things I just don't get to do at home. Specifically like chest supported rows. I've tried doing that before and setting it up in different ways, and it just never pans out. So even the cable machine at the gym feels different. This one is it was a cheap one off Amazon, but it's actually pretty good overall. It has pretty good tension. It has like a good 1-to-1 ratio of the weight. Some machines you have to really load on weight or put it to a ridiculously high number to feel to feel heavy. But this is like 60 pounds for these push downs. It feels good. Yeah, pretty happy with it. But even at that, like, I can't get a good angle on the actual, like, pushing my feet into the bottom with the row, and that kind of helps stabilize me. So whenever I get to the gym, I'll be able to do that more. And I like doing rows or push downs this way with my hands a little closer because it feels like I have a little bit of a better mind muscle connection, which I'm not too overly worried about. But what happens is if I lose the mind muscle connection, I just kind of start throwing the weight around, and then it doesn't feel good, and then I don't do the movement. So it's almost like a little token that, or a little carrot that I can dangle in front of me rather, to just make sure I'm consistently doing these. So that's about it. I don't have much else to say. This was a fairly decent session for the deadlift, or rather, in regards to the deadlift. So that's it.